So what is a partner objection? Partner objection is more often than not the money objection in disguise. It's typically an appeal to a third party authority which isn't actually there on the call, so the prospect can use it more often than not as a deflection. Look, sometimes people do have to chat about decisions with their partner, which is completely normal and fine, but 9 times out of 10, it will break down to a money objection. Because if you think about it, if they need to ask their partner permission to spend the money, if they say, I need to think about it with my partner, they're going to be thinking about the money with them. If they say, I need to talk to my partner about it, they're going to be talking to them about the money. That's going to be the first question that their partner most likely brings up is, okay, cool, how much does it cost? Like, all of that sounds great. And so there's a few ways that you can actually handle this objection, but step one is to always get on the same side of the table as the prospect. So saying things like, hey, look, no problem, I fully understand. From what I can tell is you want to run this by your partner, which I think is a great idea, by the way. I'd totally do the same. And just a quick question, if your partner was here right now, and they were, saying yes, would this be the answer for you? And then the person would be like, oh yeah, for sure. If you've done a good job during the sales call, the person's going to be like, yeah, for sure. So, okay, do you mind just telling me why though? And have quite an inquisitive and curious tone. And then going to tell you exactly what they like about your program. If it's the coaching, if it's the accountability, if it's technology, the structure, the eyes over their shoulder, whatever it might be. Okay, cool. And that makes sense. And I guess with what we've gone through, what is it specifically you feel like yourself and your partner would find most beneficial about this offer or product or service, whatever your offer is, right? And they're going to dig even deeper again about what they like. So, okay, great. That all sounds cool. That makes sense. How do you think your partner feels about you learning the skills so that you can insert tangible outcome, lose 10 kilos by Christmas, get more leads for your business to make more money, learn real estate, whatever it is? And they're probably going to say, oh no, my partner's super supportive of me. It's like, okay, great. Well, let me ask you a question. What happens if your partner doesn't want you to move forward with learning these skills? What happens then? And then a lot of the time they're going to diverge and be like, oh, well, they won't do that. Like, it should be all fine. I just want to kind of run it by them or whatever. And then what you need to do then is then restate the question. Oh, no, sorry, maybe I wasn't clear. What actually happens if you go to your partner and they genuinely don't want you to move forward on this? Like, what happens then if they don't want you to move forward? Like, they say no. What actually happens then? And then again, I've had this kind of dance back and forth a few times with different prospects. They're like, oh no, it should be fine. It should be sweet. So like, but man, let's say they've had an awful day. They've come home. You tell them about this program. You're super excited and they say, no, go away. There's no way you're doing that. Like, what actually happens then? And then that's when you go into this fork here, which is road A, I'd do it anyway, or road B, then I wouldn't do it. And they're two completely different scenarios. So if they're going to do it anyway, again, you just want to ask, oh, you do it anyway? And then you're like, yeah. So, okay, well, why would you do it anyway? Like, specifically though. And then they're going to restate again why they like the program, they offer the service, whatever it is. And then from there, you then need to kind of coach the partner talk and say, well, look, if you're going to do it anyway, I guess, how do we present this in the best way possible where your partner is going to be on board? Because we want to make sure that they're on board, right? It's just easier for everyone involved. So what you want to do there is kind of encourage them, try to get a deposit if you can, and be like, cool, what we do here from here in this typical scenario is we take some card details, bit of a down deposit or a down payment. So we've got a bit of an emotional commitment, which is fully refundable, by the way. So you can then go to your partner and say, look, you're committed to this process, but you've respected them enough to where they can then rip that up if they want to. But this is something that you really want to move forward with and really value and really see the ROI, because we don't want to go to your partner with a whole bunch of, hey, this is going to be amazing. This is what we really want to do. It's just like what we want to do is focus on the problems that you've been having and how you think that we can help solve them. Is that fair enough? Yes. Okay, great. Another mini tactic you can throw in here is the Alex Hormozy tactic, where he says, as a bit of a joke with the prospect, and goes, look, if you go home and you have a chat with your partner and they genuinely say, there's no way you're doing that. There's no way I want you to lose 10 kilos by Christmas. There's no way I want you to get more leads for your business. There's no way I want you to make more money. You're definitely not learning real estate. You're blah, 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 whatever it is. If they genuinely say any of that, you call me and then the money will be back in your account before we hang up the phone. So, okay, cool, fair enough. And the other side of this is if they wouldn't do it. So that's when you want to go into the same thing of coaching them, except you don't want to try to get a deposit here or a down payment or whatever it might be. Same thing though with the problem solution framework. And here is where you want to schedule a follow-up call, ideally with the partner on the call if you can. And this, from my experience, is the simplest way to handle the partner objection. So just to recap, you want to get on the same side of the table with them and isolate the objection, reaffirm the wants and why they actually want to do this. Test and kind of get them to dip their toes in the water of what their partner would actually say. If they said yes, if they said no, and how that makes them feel, and then ask the pressure question. What happens if they say no? And then handle road A or road B, or if I'd do it anyway or I wouldn't do it. So I hope this helps, and don't forget to subscribe and check out our community below. Thank you.